What did your parents say to you as a kid that still affects you today? My dad invented this game when I was 6 called Little Ghost. Whenever I did something wrong, he'd pretend I wasn't there. Not like normal ignoring, full erasure. He'd look through me, talk around me, set one less plate at dinner. My mom and brother had to play along or he'd get that look. The one that meant later. Once it lasted 3 days because I broke a glass figurine. 72 hours of being invisible in my own house. Asking for breakfast and watching my mom's eyes dart to my dad before she'd continue making only 3 lunches. Sitting at the table while they discussed my empty chair. Shame Kathleen couldn't be here today. Walking into rooms and watching conversations stop, then resume about how empty the house felt lately. The rules were simple. I had to earn my way back to existence by figuring out what I'd done and writing an apology letter. Sometimes I knew exactly what I'd done wrong. Other times I'd write 5-10 different letters, guessing at my crime before finding the right one. The worst was when I genuinely couldn't figure it out and would sob at the dinner table, begging to be seen while they discussed how peaceful the house had been lately. When I turned 13, my brother Randy stopped playing along. He was 16 and tried to talk to me during a ghost period. He'd whisper to me at night that he was sorry, that once he moved out we could both get away. But during ghost time, his eyes would slide past me just like everyone else's. My friend stopped coming over after Jessie witnessed it. She came for a sleepover during a ghost day. Kept asking my mom why she was setting only 3 places for dinner, why no one was answering when I spoke. Mom just smiled that tight smile and asked Jessie if she was feeling all right, because there were only 3 people in the house as far as she could see. Jessie called her mom to pick her up early. I got good at watching facial cues, at anticipating wants before they were spoken, at making myself so helpful and quiet and perfect that maybe I wouldn't disappear again. Started keeping a journal of every interaction, every possible misstep, analyzing what might have triggered him. Enzo, my lab partner in high school, asked why I apologized so much. Why I kept whispering, "Is this right? Is this okay?" Why I flinched when he reached past me for a beaker. Fernando was the first boyfriend I brought home, senior year. It was going well until he asked where I was in the family photos on the mantle. There were several empty spaces where I'd been cut out. Dad explained that Kathleen was camera shy, always had been, never took a good picture. That night, I became a ghost for a week. My crime. Embarrassing the family by dating someone who asked questions. I moved out at 18, 5 hours away. Thought distance would fix it. But every time the phone rang and it was them, I'd feel myself fade a little. Sometimes Dad would call just to tell me he was disappointed, then hang up. No ghosting needed anymore. The game had evolved. He'd planted it so deep I could ghost myself. 2 months ago, my mom called. Dad had been diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's. She wanted me to come home. I said no. She cried. Said he was asking for me, asking why I never visited. I told her I couldn't do it. Couldn't walk back into that house. She said I was being selfish. That family should come first. That maybe if I'd been a better daughter, this wouldn't be happening to him. I went. Hated myself for going, but went. The house looked smaller. Dad was in his chair, staring at the TV. He smiled when he saw me, called me by name, asked why I hadn't visited sooner. No mention of disappointment. No cold eyes. My chest felt tight, waiting for the moment he'd remember why he'd trained everyone to pretend I didn't exist. Mom pulled me aside, whispered that his memory was slipping backward, that he remembered me as a little girl, before I started causing problems, before the ghosting started, before I became the daughter who ruined everything. She said we shouldn't remind him of all the trouble I'd caused, that we should let him have peace. I sat with him for hours. He held my hand, told stories about when I was small, before everything, how proud he was of me, how smart I was. In his stories, I was golden, perfect, loved. I didn't recognize the child he described. By evening, I was exhausted from smiling, from pretending, from being the daughter he thought he had. That night, I couldn't sleep. Went downstairs for water and found Dad sitting in the dark. He looked up, eyes clear in a way they hadn't been all day. Asked what I was doing in his house. Said he didn't invite ghosts inside. My blood went cold. He remembered after all. But then he started crying. Actually crying. Said he was sorry for the game. Said his father had done it to him. That his father had learned it from his father before him. Generations of men turning their children into ghosts to teach them obedience. He'd sworn he wouldn't continue it, but then I was born so willful, so loud, so much like him that he panicked. Thought he was saving me from something worse.